2 years ago, I started a blog, and that blog was called Game Design Journal. It's kind of wild looking back at this after such a long time. Um, but this started, I'm a software engineer. This started during a time in my software engineering career where, I was kind of getting fed up with the lack of creativity in software engineering. It's not as, you're not really worried about like, oh, how is this thing fun for the person using this? It's more just like you have a set of requirements and you just got to do those things, and it's kind of cut and dry at times. So at the time that I was making this in 2021, I really wanted to dive into game design because that had been a passion of mine for a long time, and I never did it. So I figured, why not? And throughout that process, I learned a lot, not just about game design, but like as a software engineer in life. A lot's happened. Um, and I want to talk about that. So, something that I struggled with while learning game design was what I eventually learned was like embracing my own creativity. Because as a game designer, you need to fail a lot. You need to basically ask like, hey, is this fun? Is this fun? Is this fun? Um, and understand why it is or isn't fun, whatever it is you're designing, and then make the best move you can possibly make moving forward. Um, and as I get more into this, you might see this theme coming back of like struggling to embrace my own creativity. The last entry here is titled Hello MakeCode because I joined another team as a software engineer called MakeCode, and I think I have some stuff here. Yeah, it's an awesome like build your own game sort of website that Microsoft runs. We make no money off of this stuff. It's really just there for people to learn how to program. So since then, I've actually joined another team, thankfully another education focused team because I love computer science education. You'll see that in a second. And this site is about using Visual Studio Code entirely in the browser. VS Code it's like a code editor it's one of the most famous, most popular code editors in existence. We built an education tool right in it, and you can use the browser to go through this entire like introduction to Python course. It's totally free. You need a Microsoft account for now. We'll add Google very soon. But so I switched onto this team, and from there have been learning a lot. I've basically ever since joining MakeCode, I've basically become a web developer after some time, which is a whole other area unrelated to what I had been doing before, but it was a lot of fun, and I love this team, and it's great. But I have been busy, so I haven't had enough time to really, really dive into game design, at least in the way that I wanted. And this like struggling to embrace my own creativity was something that kept coming back to me that I really wanted to figure out. So as I was like leveling up in my own engineering, I started a YouTube channel called Dev Survival Guide, which has one video on it. And I'm proud that there's even one video on it because getting one thing out was hard enough. But again, I ran into that theme of like, this needs to be perfect. If this isn't perfect, I have to, this is hard to do. And of course it's hard to do. Like making videos like this is not easy. It comes with, yes, you do it at first and you struggle. But after the struggling, you get better. And so I tried to do this and again, sort of hit that roadblock of like, okay, I did one. I don't even want to look at it because it's probably terrible and all this stuff. So I kind of started getting tired of how that was becoming a reoccurring theme with me. So I started diving into a book called The Artist's Way. And if anybody who's watching this ever wants to do anything creative with their lives, read this book, especially if you find yourself struggling to do those things, struggling to find time, struggling to believe in your own ideas like I kind of was. Giving yourself extremely harsh criticism and not allowing yourself the time to get better, which I know a ton of people struggle with. So shout outs to this book. I love it. I don't know why it's only rated 4 stars. This should be a 5. This is a 5-star book in my opinion. So I started working on that, and that is really where I started understanding like where this was coming from and how to get better at it, honestly. And it's come with a lot of time, a lot of like introspection. And only now am I really starting to embrace myself. Um, and this brings up a term. This book mentions a term called synchronicity. And synchronicity is, let me hide this for a second. Synchronicity is this idea that things come to us, and sometimes it's just right place, right time. And a lot of the time when these things come up, we might be too busy. We might be feeling like, in another life, maybe I could have done that. But instead of seeing it like these things that come out of nowhere that might distract us or whatever, seeing them as opportunities. And that, let me double check my notes. So doing that, seeing things as opportunities instead of, kind of being afraid of jumping into it and, things like that. The perfect opportunity came by for me, and that opportunity was something called, let me switch over to Unity, something called Gravitorium. A friend of mine reached out 4 or 5 months ago. A friend of mine reached out, said he was working on this game, and he had a programmer who left his team, or basically ghosted them, and reached out to me saying, hey, do you want to work on this? And, after having this blog for for at least a year, at first I was very hesitant to join because I had just joined this other team, and I had no idea how I would manage my time and if I could do it. And, I didn't want to be somebody who said, yeah, I'll do it, and then not contribute anything to the project. But reading about synchronicity in The Artist's Way really helped me view it as an opportunity to try this indie dev journey. My blog started as Game Design Journey, and eventually sort of started turning into Game Design Journal, which now I'm very much seeing as Game Dev Journal. And game dev is this, right? Like working on a project, jumping into a project. In this case, it's been interesting because, I've just been handed a project. They already had the design. They already had a lot of the code. They just need help shipping it. And in some cases need help with level design, which is perfect, right? I'm a programmer and I started studying level design or game design not too long ago. So I have this grasp of at least like the fundamentals of game design. Not that I've flexed it a ton, but this was the perfect opportunity for me to just jump in and say, screw it, let's learn. Let's just do this and use this almost as like a playground for, flexing my programming muscles in Unity, which is something that I had not, I hadn't used Unity in a long time. I was in the middle of learning Unreal Engine, actually. So jumping over to Unity was one of the reasons why I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this. But again, synchronicity. I'm glad I joined it. So a friend of mine reached out, needed help. And since then, I've joined this game, and we plan on releasing a demo in, 2 to 3 weeks, sometime in February. So that's been great. And to sort of bring it back for a second, in terms of, my own updates, let me hide this here. Yes, so that is a very brief recap of sort of everything that's happened, at least for me. And, doing The Artist's Way has probably been the best thing that I have done for myself in a long time because it's paying dividends. It's really helping me be more consistent in the things that I want to work on. And one of those things that I want to work on is sharing more. Like this idea of content creation has always fascinated me. And, I started that blog. I've started multiple blogs. I've ran a podcast before. I've done so many things that ultimately I ended up feeling a little bit like ashamed over. But since working on The Artist's Way and focusing on myself and really like trying to heal myself, I felt a lot better about this stuff. And that's how I'm able to even make this video today. So this video is sort of an update to my Game Dev Journal blog, but I don't know that I'm going to be making more posts to that except for this one. I'm probably just going to keep everything on this YouTube channel with my name on it. I have no idea. I'll figure it out. But the point is to just be doing it, right? So, um, yeah, if you were subscribed to my blog before, please subscribe to my personal YouTube channel. I do plan on sharing a lot more of the game development experience. That's kind of what the point of that blog was. Hey, I'm going to study game design, and then I'll share it out, and I'll share my learnings, and it'll be a good time, and it'll be chill. So, yeah, that's still the plan. I just can't do the written format. For whatever reason, writing, I just can't stop editing. Like, I everybody's got this, right? Like you have this like perfectionist attitude, and I'm sort of moving past that perfectionist attitude, but it's easier for me to move past it in this video format. I've done acting a long time ago, and so this is just easier for me to do. So I'm gonna stick with this because it works, and you know, it's fun too. I love the setup to this whole thing. So yeah. I don't know if there's anything else to update here. Let me check my notes. I think that is it. So yeah, if this interests you at all, please subscribe, and post a comment of things you're interested in seeing, because I've recorded one video of me solving 2 bugs on Gravitorium. That'll be uploaded after this one. But after that, I have no idea. I'm just going to wing it and record what I feel like recording. And if anything is interesting to you, or you're curious about, or you know, whatever else, just please reach out, because that's what makes this fun too, is just interacting with people while on this journey. So that's that. Thanks for listening to this if you did, and if not, you know, thanks for clicking on the video. That is it until the next one. So thanks again for watching. Peace.